Say happy birthday to you if you want.
Okay, good deal, thank you. I'd like Bill Kroll, our always busy facilities manager, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the July 11, 2019 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I currently serve as chair of the commission and represent District 3 alongside Commissioner Bill Rippon, who represents District 1, and Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. Good morning, everyone. Morning. First item of business, please.
First item is proclamations, presentations, update on the Community Health Improvement Plan. Susan Kamen, Community Health Planner.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Oaks from the Health Department. I'm very pleased to introduce Susan Kamen for her very first presentation in our community about the Community Health Improvement Plan. So she's been working hard on it, so I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about it and answer your questions.
Perfect. So thank you, Linda, for the introduction, and good morning, Commissioners. Like Linda said, my name is Susan Kamen, and I'm the newly hired community health planner in the community, and today I'm going to provide you with an update on the Community Health Improvement Plan and share a little bit about what I've been working on this past month with the steering committee of the Community Health Improvement Plan. All right. So just to make sure. Okay, so I first wanted to begin by providing a little bit of a background on what a community health improvement plan is. We use that term in public health all the time, but we don't want to assume that everyone or the public knows what it entails. And just for reference, I might use the term CHIP throughout the presentation for short instead of Community Health Improvement Plan. So what it is a systematic roadmap that describes how a community will address health priorities that are identified through a community health needs assessment. And for us here in Shawnee County, that was completed in 2018. And we had lots of community involvement and priorities that were determined there. So what a CHIP does is take those priorities and turn them into action. So the assessment is kind of like the what is going on in the community, and the CHIP is actionable intervention strategies of how we will address those priorities. What it does is also establishes accountability among community partners and community organizations that are involved because health is in all parts of our community, so it is important that we collaborate and create partnerships. And it also is a measurable process. We have objectives that are driven in county level data and surveys and databases that I will get into a little bit later. And then a key aspect, like I said, is that the CHIP is also driven by community voices, and it's grounded in the community. That's a very pivotal aspect of the process. So here is kind of the organizational structure of the document if you were looking at the Community Health Improvement Plan in and of itself. And there are many different templates that this can follow, but we are following the Kansas Health Institute's template for the Community Health Improvement Plan. And at the highest level, we have our priority areas, which for us here in Shawnee County, we have 4: behavioral health, safe access to foods, health equity, and substance use as our 4 priority areas that were identified and further prioritized with community. Under those, we have goals that respond to those priority areas, and then we get to our objective level, which includes our measurable target data-driven outcomes. But then under those, we have our intervention strategies that are also measurable in different ways, more with environmental scans to make sure that the objectives and strategies are being implemented as intended. So here in our community, we've been the group that's been kind of spearheading the work of defining the priorities and the goals and objectives is the steering committee, which is comprised of myself as the community health planner, but also the HHN current chair, Craig Barnes, the vice chair, Anadina Patch, which are both here, the immediate past chair, Virginia Barnes, and a representative from Stormont Vale, Austin Jackson, which is one of our biggest partners, as well as our two KHI, Kansas Health Institute consultants. And what the steering committee has been doing is really looking at the county data trends to ensure that our objectives respond to the trends and are going to be feasible and attainable in the amount of time that the CHIP is going to be implemented. We've also been gathering further community input and engagement outside of HHN, maybe to additional groups that aren't represented already in the coalition, and going out and seeing how our work might align with the CHIP, because we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We want to create existing momentum and elevate the work that is already happening here in our county. So here's a timeline of the process. Like I said, the assessment was completed in 2018, and currently we're working on developing the CHIP and more specifically identifying intervention strategies with our partners in HHN. And then in 2022 on, we are going to be building capacity, implementing the intervention strategies, and completing ongoing evaluation and reporting on the progress being made. And so this next part of the presentation, I wanted to walk you through an example of what an intervention strategy might look like in the actual document of the CHIP. And I'm going to use an example to build off of Craig Barnes' presentation last week on food insecurity. So I'm going to focus in on that priority here in our community and walk you through an example of what that might look like. But first, I wanted to just review that food insecurity has two components. It is the lack of access to healthy foods, but it is also the limited availability of healthy foods. So lack of access meaning barriers such as transportation and cost, and lack of availability meaning our food deserts, and is it physically there in the environment for people to access. And this is an important public health issue because people who experience food insecurity have an increased risk for different chronic diseases such as diabetes and heart disease, as well as obesity. So we want to make sure we continue addressing the issue here in our community and strive towards making changes and improvements. So this is what the priority area goals and corresponding objectives look like for the safe access to food priority in our community health improvement plan. So as you can see, we have our three objectives that all come from Feeding America and the USDA. And two of them focus on food insecurity, and one of them focuses on food deserts. So we're really prioritizing both aspects of the issue. And I'm going to walk you through an example utilizing the objective in the box, which is to decrease overall food insecurity rate from 13.3% to 12%. So this slide is a little busy, but this is what it would look like in the Community Health Improvement Plan document. And just starting from the top, you can see the priority area, the goal, as well as the objective that I highlighted in the box, all similar to the last slide. What's new here is our intervention strategy. So I'm utilizing the Shawnee County Farm and Food Advisory Council that we talked about in Craig's presentation as our strategy example. And of course, these outcome measures would be how we would measure the work of the council. And these are just examples since the council is not established yet and we don't know what their priorities are going to be. But these are ways in which we can ensure that our intervention strategies are being met and that progress is being taking place in those areas. And in accomplishing our outcome measures, we accomplish our intervention strategies, and in doing that, we contribute to the work of the objective, which is to decrease the food insecurity rate.
Susan, is that a very aggressive goal? 13.3% to 12%, is that aggressive enough?
Right. I think that's a great question. We've been looking at the data with the Kansas Health Institute and looking at trends. And I think due to the trends and how food insecurity has been trending in the past 3 years, we believe that this is a reasonable objective because it is in 3 years.
Okay. So we're sort of putting a lid on it more than anything else? Is that?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think it's putting a lid on it. It's just ensuring that in 3 years, we have attainable outcomes and objectives. And it is important to note, too, that the CHIP is a continual process, and that in 3 years, we can reassess and increase the objective or decrease and manipulate them like that, and depending on how the intervention strategies are proposed. So.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so this is an example of the action plan, which is what ensures the intervention strategies are being met. And as you can see, it's pretty detailed. It has action steps, the lead person or organization, a target date, as well as potential partners, and notes on process and progress. So this is what we would utilize internally. But we're looking at ways into making both of these kind of reporting and evaluation metrics a little bit more user-friendly and accessible, potentially through a public-facing dashboard in which people can easily see and track progress. And if the objectives are adjusted or should be adjusted, then we would make those adjustments there. And so to wrap up the presentation, it is important to stress that CHIP processes are systematic and organized, and that is intentional in order to build community capacity and build partnerships and cross-sector collaborations that will ensure sustainable health improvement in our community, which is what is echoed in Public Health 3.0 and what we're utilizing as a framework going forward. So. That concludes my presentation, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Questions for Susan, Commissioner Cook?
Congratulations on addressing the commission, reaching that goal
Thank you.
that we discussed
Fairly
during
nervous.
the health agency's presentation, that one of your goals was to address the commission within 90 days, so I think we've met that goal.
Check that off. So
That
the
off the
action
list.
plan.
But I think that, I think Commissioner Archer's question is correct. Going from 13.2 to 12% doesn't seem like we're really moving the needle that much, especially when you're considering over 3 years. But I think that it is better to have an attainable goal than being unrealistic. But I think we're wanting to make bold thoughts. We're wanting to take bold action when it comes to community health. So I would encourage us to shoot beyond the 12%.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I appreciate that feedback. And we'll definitely take it back to the steering committee and reassess our objectives and ensure that they're aggressive
Commissioner
enough.
Rippon?
I'm just going to echo the same comments. I'd like to see us be a little more aggressive on that percentage. But other than that, and welcome aboard.
Thank you. I appreciate
And
that.
we've got a representative from Stormont here. Is there anything you'd like to add to the presentation? I just met her sitting outside in the hall.
Thank you so much, Commissioners, for letting us address you. My name's Inadina Patch, and I'm the Manager for Community Health Engagement at Stormont Vale. And we are partnered with the Shawnee County Health Agency to help support the work of the Community Health Improvement Plan, and have been working directly with the team on the steering committee and also with Heartland Healthy Neighborhoods. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to present the work. We would agree that improving the health of our community is important. It's not just the mission of our organization, but we know something that's very important for the community. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be here with you guys today.
Yeah, thank you. for
I'm
coming.
happy to address any direct questions if you have any for us, too.
Guess not.
No.
Okay.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here today. Thank you, Susan. The thing that I like, and I think we've sent the word out, we need to be as aggressive as possible. But I like the fact that we have accountability. We have action plans that designate accountability, and we have measurable results.
Exactly.
And I think that's important in our action plans, because frankly, we have to do better. We have to do better about the health of our county. So,
Exactly.
again, thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Next item, please.
Item 3, consent agenda.
There were 4 items on the consent agenda this morning.
I would move for approval as presented.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Under Equipment Fund, KBS Contractors, Inc., totaling $36,725 is for renovations and retainage for courtrooms 300 and 311. Under Pass-Through, Kelly Construction, Inc., $354,152 is for East Topeka Learning Center. Total vouchers for July 10th, 2019, $1,429,414.19. And I move that we approve the vouchers.
Second.
Motion made to approve the vouchers by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion made to approve the correction orders by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, Extension Council number 1, acknowledge receipt of the Extension Council budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Cindy Evans, Director with Shawnee County Extension. Here for my final leg of our dance back and forth. I was here on Monday, and you took action to reject that budget, so my Executive Board met on Tuesday. We are submitting the budget again, and today the appropriate action would simply to be acknowledge receipt of our Extension Council budget, and then you would consider it with all the others at a later date.
Very good. Questions? Motions?
Move to acknowledge receipt.
I'll second that.
Motion made to acknowledge receipt by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Next item, please.
Item C, Parks and Recreation number 1, consider authorization and execution of the following. A, contract C-252-2019 with the Junior League of Topeka to rent the sand volleyball courts on September 7th to host a charity fundraising event at a cost of $150. And B, resolution number 2019-49, temporarily exempting Lake Shawnee sand volleyball courts and immediate area on map from restrictions on selling, serving, possessing, or consuming alcoholic liquor and/or cereal malt beverage.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation. As the clerk has mentioned, we have two items that are related here. One is just a contract with Junior League of Topeka for a charitable sand volleyball tournament. And that leases the sand volleyball courts at Lake Shawnee. The second is a resolution that will allow them to serve alcohol at this event. If you recall, several months ago, we passed the Home Rule Resolution 2019-1 that states any Shawnee County Parks and Recreation parks, buildings, or facilities hosting an authorized special or regular event must obtain written permission from the Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Director and a resolution approved by the Board of County Commissioners in order to allow patrons at the event to consume alcohol, liquor, or cereal malt beverages. So this basically is just covering our bases that we put forward. I would like to say Nate Greer, our sports event manager, is here, and I don't believe you are. Bree Parks is here from the Junior League of Topeka. So if you had any questions in particular about the event, she'd be glad to tell you.
Good. Come on up.
Put you right on the spot, didn't I?
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Bree Parks. I am the Vice President of Fundraising for the Junior League of Topeka. This is our third annual charity spike volleyball tournament, and we are excited to bring it back again this year. It's a great fundraising event for us where the funds we earn from this event we can go and put back into training and development of women in the Topeka community, as well as support for local charities. Our 87-year history, we have founded many programs. I'm sure you've heard of many of them: Meals on Wheels, ERC, which is now Child Care Aware, and most recently the Diaper Depot. So we're excited about the event. It's going to be fun, but we've heard pretty loud and clear that they'd like to have access to purchase some beer for the event, and we'd like to be able to make some money that we can then turn around and put back into the Topeka community. Do you have any questions I can help answer?
Questions for Bree?
No,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for coming.
I'll move that we approve the contract and the resolution.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you,
Randy.
Commissioner.
Again, thank you, Bree. Next item, please.
Item D, Facilities Maintenance. Number 1, consider approval of a request to submit a request for pricing for installation of automatic fire door closures at the meeting and ballrooms of the Manor Conference Center with funding from the Manor Maintenance Fund with a balance of $67,080.51.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Kroll, Facilities Maintenance Director. The city of Topeka, when they did their inspection of the Manor Conference Center earlier this year, cited that we did not have automatic door closures and there were door stops and things being used on the conference rooms. Following that, went out and got some informal pricing, but all of it came in over $10,000 to install the automatic closures. So need an RFP to get a formal way to look at this and see if we have enough money to do it. I believe the Manor Conference Fund, Maintenance Fund will have enough money to get this done. The discrepancies on pricing go a lot because there's door closures with built-in magnets that release with the fire alarm. And the most common type that you see a lot of places are a magnet that's mounted on the wall and grabs the door. At Manor Conference Center, there isn't a wall to back up to put the magnet, and if you put it on the floor, it would be a tripping hazard. So we're looking at getting the closures with the built-in magnets on most of those doors. There's a couple that we can do less expensively the other way where we have a wall backing it up, but the bulk of them will be the expensive kind, unfortunately.
Questions for Bill?
Motion to approve the request for an RFP.
I'll approve, or second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item D2, consider approval of a request to submit a request for pricing for pavement, stairs, railing, and lighting renovations to the main south entrance of the courthouse with funding from deferred capital with a balance of $126,634.65.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Bill Kroll, Facilities Maintenance Director. This will allow us to see if we can continue some of our improvements we've been making around the courthouse. I believe Commissioner Rippon started this process several years ago when he was still with Parks and Rec, with Slemons and Associates as far as design work and some things. This will be kind of the last thing I think we might be able to do based on the estimates that the architect is providing us, but would like to see if we can get the steps redone, a new railing out front, and get our lighting up to LED standards and do some things that are be nice for the public as well as safe.
Questions?
I move that we approve.
Second.
Motion made to approve the request by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Bill. Next item.
Item E, Commission Number 1, consider canceling the July 25th commission meeting.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
This is an opportunity for department heads or any member of the public with no time constraints to address the county commission.
Good morning. I'm Nate Greer, Sports Event Manager with Parks and Rec. So I would just like to invite you and the public to our Girls Class C National Championship starting on Wednesday, July 17th, and it goes all the way through Saturday, July 20th. It'll be both at Bettis Family Sports Complex and Lake Shawnee Girls Softball Complex. And Commissioner Rippon is actually going to be at our opening ceremony over at TPAC, and so we're excited about that. And we are expecting about 42 teams representing 5 different states, including Kansas. And we are expecting from this tournament to generate about $250,000 from total economic impact. So it should be a really great 4 days of softball, and we're really excited about it.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation. Commissioner Rippon, I hope they're asking you to throw out the first pitch. I think that might be worth showing up for. I did want to announce that our mini train at Gage Park is up and running again. If it had problems with the airbags, or air tanks, I should say. But our mechanics did a great job and got it back, and it's open today. We are honoring, if you recall, Tuesdays during July for Parks and Recreation Month. It's only $1 to ride the train. Since we were closed on Tuesday, we are honoring that today. So come on out and enjoy the train. Thank you.
I'm glad that's done. Gosh.
Sorry. Good morning.
Good morning,
I'm
Teresa.
nervous to be here anyway.
Good morning.
I'm here as a Shawnee County resident, as a former 13-year Neighborhood Improvement Association president, and also as the Park and Rec Advisory Board member. I have things I have to say that I'm not real pleased I have to say, so bear with me. I'm going to be talking a little bit about our contract that we have with the county and the parks. I'm going to start from the beginning of where I came from. When you guys took over January 1st of 2012, you guys had meetings at Central Park down in the basement, asking everybody our opinions, how you could better the parks or whatever. At that time, I had the keys to the bathrooms in McKinley Park, because every NIA president, if I would have changed and somebody else would have took on, I would have handed that key down. There was a key, which I told them I had, to that bathroom, so they wouldn't have to change the locks. I was willing to give it over. They told me at that time to hold on to it. They will get back with me. They never did. They changed the locks. They chiseled out some of the stone and put this ugly lock and stuff on it, and that was fine. But then became the flower beds in our park disappeared without telling anybody. We offered as the NIA to buy the flowers, maintain the flowers and everything. Nobody ever got back to us. Then became a problem with vandalism of our bathroom. At that time, our NIA had the SWORT grant funding. I offered SWORT grant funding to fix it. The only thing that was wrong with it, because I went inside and I took pictures. The only thing, they damaged the locks to the doors, and the metal stall part, he took a sledgehammer to. That's all that needed to be replaced. The water was not damaged, the porcelain was not damaged, the lighting was not damaged. We offered that. We had a meeting with our district, our commissioner, and Mr. Knight, with the ladies in the neighborhood, because it was supposed to be with me, but I thought the ladies in the neighborhood started that park, so they should have a voice. So I brought all the ladies in, we had a conversation in the park, and then I was told that they would get back with us before anything happened. Next thing I know, my neighbor's calling me and screaming, they're bulldozing the bathrooms. No getting back with us, wasn't brought up in front of you, wasn't mentioned to anybody. It was done by an employee that ordered it, not by John Knight, an employee. Same employee that hid our play equipment for 2 months, stating it was not there, hasn't been in there, but it's sitting at Gage Park warehouse for almost 2 months, with having this much correspondence back and forth with the person telling me they didn't know where it was at. So, the other thing is that really upset me, that was federal money that put that bathroom in there, so I don't know if you have to pay that federal money back when you destroy a bathroom like that. I understand my park might not have been the only one the bathrooms got destroyed, but in McKinley Park, in this contract, it says you will maintain the basketball courts, playground equipment, picnic facilities, flower bed, and restroom. So that restroom should have been fixed, and it should have been grandfather claused in as far as I'm concerned. So that is part of my thing. Here's the deal. We see a lot of things disappearing out of these parks, flower beds, because we're told there's not enough funding for that. The neighborhoods are willing to work with you guys with these flower beds. The women especially want to have their flower beds, and they still would like to have them back. I was told that we have a lot of roofs and things that need to be repaired, and a lot of things out there that still need to be worked on, and there's funding for that. But what worries me is that some of our community centers still need a lot of work. They're outdated, they need to have a lot of work done to them. And then I was told possibly we might have a new community center put out on the west side of town. But here's how I see it. If we haven't got the money to fix what we already have, how can we build something new? That I've never understood. But what I'm trying to also get at is that there is miscommunication with the park people and the NIAs, because they're willing to help you, because my bathroom should have never been taken out. It was never brought up in front of you. It was never said anything to my commissioner or Mr. Knight before it was destroyed. And that should never, ever happen again. So I hope you look at, when we're doing the budget, also, that you will look that we have 151 roofs, I take it. I don't know how many of those that we need to do, but I was told there was quite a few roofs that need to be replaced. There's a lot of different things in parks. We're losing parks. We shouldn't be losing parks. That's what this contract was to maintain it. And it has every park listed on here, what is supposed to be maintained, and we are losing quite a few of these. So that's what I want to bring out in front of you today, and I hope you listen to me.
Well, no, thank you for coming. We're going to have a discussion on Monday morning at 10
Right.
o'clock about the Parks and Rec budget, how we're going to invest funds. We've already got $3 million committed to addressing funds, and I think we're going to have more money that's going to be allocated to addressing funds, Parks and Rec. But in addition to maintaining, we also have to grow and build new and address the tremendous imbalance of Parks and Rec in our community. So that's what we'll be spending a lot of time talking about it Monday morning. I'm sure you'll be back.
I will be back.
To address us. But I can't really address what you brought about. I'm not familiar with the bathroom being torn down without communication, to be honest with you. I do know effective July 1st, it's a new day in Parks and Recreation for Shawnee County. There's new leadership, new communication modes, and overall improvement.
Right.
So,
I
like I
just-
say, we'll be having a very big, long discussion on Monday about investments in Parks and Recreation in their budget.
Right.
But no, I appreciate your coming today.
Yeah, because I was pretty upset when my bathrooms were, because we were promised somebody to talk to us, and then the next thing we know, an employee orders it beneath John Knight and our commissioner.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else for administrative communications? Commissioner Cook?
Commissioner, I don't know that I can let Teresa's comments, Ms. Miller's comments go without being addressed.
Okay.
The bathrooms were taken out, and this is over 3 years ago that it happened. There was a meeting at the McKinley Park with John Knight, myself, and the neighborhood to talk about the park, improvements, additions, issues with the bathrooms. The bathrooms were taken out. There was no notice to the public. There was no notice to me. There was no notice. It did happen within Parks and Recreation. Ms. Miller contacted me as the work was being done. I immediately contacted Mr. Knight as to determine what had happened and why it had happened. Unfortunately, by that time, the act had already been done. But since that time, I really wish that Ms. Miller had come to the podium to say thank you. Since the bathrooms were taken out, McKinley Park was doubled in size by the acquisition of additional land. The park was improved by the addition of additional playground equipment, additional amenities, cleaning up the park. It is probably now one of the best parks in the Shawnee County park system. It went from a very neglected park to a prize park. And so, in fact, there was a ribbon cutting 2 weeks ago at McKinley Park, where Miss Miller was really praising Shawnee County Parks and Rec for everything that had been done.
Right.
And so I really hope that our news media takes the time not to talk about what happened 3 years ago, but to talk about where we're at today and what that park looks like today. The last thing that I have is to note the passing of Debbie Snow. Miss Snow is a longtime Shawnee County, City of Topeka resident, a very fierce advocate, and it's good to have fierce advocates in our community. And because they bring change, they bring awareness to issues. She was a fierce advocate for many years for the communication workers, representing union members in Topeka and Shawnee County and abroad. And so just noting her passing here lately, there's a visitation for her this evening and a funeral tomorrow, but just noting her passing. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Cook. Commissioner Rippon.
I attended the celebration of life for Terry Cobb. Terry was almost a lifelong Topekan, and he was very involved in this community, not only in his real estate business, but with a number of organizations, but especially with the Tennis Association. And I had a chance to work with him on numerous projects there, and he will be missed. So,
Very good, thank you. Again, we are going to have a long discussion of Parks and Rec on Monday, and I hope people like Commissioner Cook will bring up the good that's been done. And I've heard enough negativity about our community and our Parks and Rec to last me a lifetime. I do have, for example, an email I got regarding Hughes Courts, and it says good things about the community that work at Hughes Parks, and it says good things about Tim Loren, our new director, and it says, "Thank you, Tim, for quick response to my email. We all appreciate being kept up to date. Please let us know if we can be of further assistance. We are not a group that sits back and expects everything to be done for us." I'm going to repeat that. We're not a group that sits back and expects everything to be done for us. We are here to be of any help that we can be. Thanks again. That's typically what happens in Parks and Rec. The other thing I had was happy birthday to Susie today. It was my birthday yesterday. I didn't expect anybody to say anything. And I'm glad they didn't. But I did want to mention that I brought in some cake that your department heads are directed to have a slice. Anyone else is welcome to. So that's all I've got. Next item, please.
Item 6, executive sessions.
Wait a minute, there is a need, let me make sure I mention though that today we have budget hearings at 10 o'clock for Vallejo, at 1 o'clock for the courts, and at 2 o'clock for the Department of Corrections. As far as executive session, there is a need, and I will make a motion to go into executive session for a period not to exceed 10 minutes to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel, specifically the functions and services of the weed department. No action is expected at this time, and that is a motion.
Second.
Motion made to go into executive session by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. We are in executive session. Thank you for coming.
So you all set for tomorrow? So is your whole family going to be there? You have like 70,000 people?
No, my parents are coming. My brother's children are my wife's group. So just a few.
Well, you don't have like, are you the only child or something?
No, I have two sisters. One of my sisters moved to Kansas City.
Well, tell them to Kansas City, get her ass over here. This is an important time for life. Jeez. Tell them, say, County Clerk says, be there, be square.
I will tell her. I'll tell her tomorrow.
The weather's gonna be nice, she can come, you'll buy her lunch.
Live about 3 blocks from
We are back in session. No action is required, so we're officially adjourned from the commission meeting. We will start the budget hearing for Vallejo in 10 minutes. Thank you.
There's two for Commissioner Rippon to sign.
Okay.
Couple of sign here.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? Did